eat, you can do it, okay? Because they love to eat. They love, it's just like among our people, if you were to go and visit them, you know what they're gonna do? They're gonna start cooking a meal. You're gonna think you're right at home, okay? Because they're preparing a meal in honor for you. That might happen. Or there's opportunities where they love to sing. A lot of times when I go to Indian gatherings and camp meetings, we'll sing for hours, okay? Because they love to worship the Lord. They love to tell stories, the fellowship of coming together. So that's what I'm saying. As you go to some of these areas, you're going to see that they are just like you. But what's incredible is they need to hear Jesus just like we need to hear Jesus. And yet, you know what? You've got an ear. You've got an opportunity, an invitation to contribute in their lives. So I would say that's one thing. Quickly, in closing here, let's talk a little bit of what we're going to be doing this next year. Just share that, and then I think this is a great way to wrap it up.
So the short-term missions opportunity I will be leading will be to the Twin Cities. Minneapolis has refugees or immigrants there, both Somalis and some from the Hmong culture, and so we'll be able to go there. Now, it'll be probably the cost is about $70 per day, so we're going to be there 300 days. No. A long weekend, okay? So if you need to fly in, we'll make sure we get shuttle, bring you to the refugee places to lodge, and that'll cover food as well. And the things that we do is mutual outreach and mutual learnings. So we'll do something at a park. We love to play with kids. I love to run around and knock down kids and play and tug of war and tag and all sorts of things. And then also go into their gardens. These people love to have gardens, and I can carry a hoe and weed and pull up things. And then relationally we'll do a craft together. Something hopefully from their culture, and I'm not opposed for us to do something with them from one of our native people's cultures. And of course, share a Somali meal, and I can't wait to taste the flavors of their foods. And then on Sunday, we'll attend an Ethiopian church. And so we'll be able to see how they do church. And our hope is also to learn from them, how do they reach their own people? Maybe I'll find a best practice that they do that I can then apply to other people groups. And then just because we're working with people who are of different culture, we'll probably have a modest dress code. So leave all your wife beaters at home and no shorts, and we'll tell you all of that stuff that will happen there when we get to the Twin Cities. So the dates, we're looking at dates in either June or July. So if you're interested, feel God tugging at your heart to explore that, this is our first one. We may do it regionally. We may be out to LA, maybe New York City. I'm not sure what we'll do. We'll research. But this one in 2022 will be in Minneapolis, Minnesota. So if you're interested, you can get in contact with us and let us awaken the sleeping giant.
Okay. Tell us about Spain or France, what you'll be doing.
Okay, we will be returning to France in 2022, and we typically go in June because July and beyond, Europeans are on holiday. So a lot of ministries are kind of ending their year in June. But one in particular is through Greater European Mission. There's a couple that works with the Muslim community in southern France, kind of in the French Alps. And it's a pretty powerful ministry. It's very relational. And of course, you can't share the gospel openly with Muslims, but we were able to connect with them our last trip, and they were the ones that asked about religion and belief, so we were able to share the gospel because of that. We don't have specific details right now because we were supposed to be there last year. So we're kind of projecting that next summer would be another follow-up trip.
So the camp in Spain is working with kids anywhere from 5, maybe 4 to 12, 13-year-old kids. So obviously working with kids is something that, if that excites you, that's something to look forward to. I'm not really, I know Coreen, we're both not really, I'm not really good with kids, so, but it was a great experience. I mean, they just wore me down pretty hard. But yeah, I mean, fry bread makers, the camp is always, we did a fry bread making contest with like 150 kids. So I'm teaching them how to make fry bread, and it's hilarious. I was going into it really serious, like you have to do this amount and stuff, and you have to make a perfect circle, but the kids were just having fun. So I was like, okay, it's fun. So and I think, being able to share about your culture, cultural things that, for example, in Navajos, we do a string game. So the kids were amazed by that string game. I did tons of things and told stories behind it and stuff, and just stuff like that. So if that interests you, we know the director there of the camp, and Daron's been there as well years ago, and I think Huron, but we know the director. He's always looking for Native folks from different tribes to come and represent and be there at the camp too.
We have a video to share, correct?
Yes.
Just a couple.
No, we don't. We don't. Not today.
We don't.
We don't
Okay.
today. But
So
we
here and I will be leading this trip to catch up people in Peru. Correct. Next August, correct?
Yes. Yeah. July or August is what we're looking at.
Okay. So we're going to have one team going down there, but we're going to divide. So based on my understanding,
Yep.
Huron's going to be leading a team into the mountains, working with mountains Quechua people, and I'll be leading a team to work with jungle Quechua people. And this might be an interesting possibility, something I haven't talked to Huron about, but there's actually a Quechua congregation that meets in South Minneapolis that Chris and I were able to get connected with. And we went there in April with several other church leaders. And it's a congregation, when we were there, it was on a Sunday night, 6 o'clock. Congregation about 100 to 150 people. So maybe you want to explore working with Quechua people more, and you're in Minneapolis or wherever, you want to go up and meet with that congregation. It's a great opportunity, maybe before you go on the long-term trip short-term trip to Peru. So.
Right. I think that we looked at the costs, and of course, right, being in the country, it would be we would be there for about 5 days. The total ministry cost in Peru is around $500 to $700. Okay. But then the cost in flying in and then all of that, I would say that's what it would be. So I would guess to be around 2,000 to 2,500 is what you're looking at. And I'll close with that, okay, is I want you to pray about that. The Lord would, I know, would love to have you a part of that. So you pray. And I'll close with a story. Native people love to tell stories, okay? I always say this, no matter where I go and minister, and Chief, we've worked with the Inuit people up in Alaska, the different tribes there, and the tribes in Canada and US, Mexico, South America. But there's, of all the different tribes, over 1,500 tribes, 51.1 million Native peoples, okay, in the Western Hemisphere. And we are different, but we are the same, okay? And there's 4 ways that you can tell a Native person, whether you go from Alaska to South America. The first thing is a Native person, no matter what tribe, you're never in a hurry, okay? You're never in a hurry. We always just kind of go with the flow. We're not on schedule, but we're event-oriented people. That's the first thing. Native people, we don't talk unless it's necessary, okay? We're not that demonstrative. We're very quiet people. But I always say we're really high on relationship. And once we get to know each other, okay, we're friends for life, I would say. Trusted relationships. The third thing, that we never smile unless it's necessary. I know that. Whenever I go and preach to the different villages, I'll come out and I'll preach and I'll look at some of the most stoic faces, and that doesn't scare me. Because I know that once I connect with you, once you connect and you see that smile and you start hearing those jokes and all, the windows right wide open for communication among our Native people. But the fourth thing is we eat like it's necessary all the time, okay? We love to get together. We're fellowship people. But my point is this, in closing, we're not in a hurry unless it's necessary. And what I want to say is we're planning this. I'm giving you a year out to plan, okay? But I want you to pray about what God would do to have you come and join us on these mission trips, okay? And don't make it Indian time, okay? But just put a little bit aside, go to the Lord and get in contact with us. And we would love to have you join us on this trip, okay? For those that can't make it, they said, I'd love to be there, but I can't make it. You know what I would say? You make 2021 a time of prayer as our Native people goes out to the nations, okay? And let's watch and see what God's going to do. So thanks for joining us. And yes, Paul.
Just wanted you to announce that there's sign-up sheets here if people are interested.
Right.
To start.
Okay, and that's for the group here. If there's groups that want to join us, you go ahead and sign on this list. I'll give it to Paul or whomever, and then we'll follow up on that, okay? So we'll close with that right now. Okay, and then is there any comment?